Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a solo as Gigi, only because I'm bored and I have nothing else to do, and why I don't have magnifying glass or participation award. Since I'm on mobile right now, it's really hard to hit the skill checks properly with magnifying glass or participation award. Although I'll probably use participation award in replacement for, speedy shoes, only because I really only need pink bow. Um, I... This video is more about just yapping because I'm bored and I really don't have anything else to do. Hold up, let me turn up the volume a little bit. Anyways. I don't really know how I feel about people who use V-mount in solos. I'm not saying it's wrong to use V-mount in solos. I'm saying it just doesn't feel right, because once you get to later floors, like floor 20 and up, the V-mount isn't really going to put a dent in any of the machines, especially on some of the maps. Sure, I understand popping a really annoying one, but V-mount is really best used for duos and up. Nothing more, nothing less. Actually, wait. What am I on about? Yes, using V-mount on solos is pretty stupid, and I really wouldn't recommend it for new players. If you are really wanting a good solo experience, if you are playing as a high extraction speed character, meaning 4-star or higher, I would recommend using only speed trinkets on said tune. Don't use any extraction trinkets, they don't need it. Besides, if you're doing a solo, it means you have the time to complete an entire 15 floors all by yourself. Which seems like a little bit, of a crazy thought, but it's really not. It's simple. Like, if you're doing it... Oh my god. See what I mean? Solo skill checks are... Not solo. Mobile skill checks are extremely tricky because I've been on PlayStation for so long. They just don't feel right to me. Anyways. If you're doing a solo, you are bound to get to a extremely high floor if you're good at solos. Keyword there, if. No, that doesn't mean that floor 15 or higher is always expected on a solo. Absolutely not. If you are always expecting to get that, well, prepare to be disappointed, because there will be times where you will have the worst combination known to mankind on floor 5 to 7. I have experienced so many times where I've gotten Pebble on floors 5 to 7 while playing as a bad tune to deal with Pebble on with a solo. So it's not out of the question if you can get Pebble that early on. It's not. So this is with V-mount. It's okay to use it, I guess, if you're good with your skills when it comes to doing solos with V-mount equipped. This is only if you feel confident with your skills and don't feel like, yeah. Actually, wait, no. Sorry, I got that backwards. If you use V-mount on a solo, it normally means that you are not very confident with your skills in doing open machines and breaking, like, the twisted ankles and stuff. Which, no, that's not always what it means, but it can mean that, which, there's nothing wrong with not being confident in your skills, and, like, being able to dodge twisteds easily. That's understandable. Everyone's at that point when they're playing this game, that they just don't feel confident in that. If you do use V-mount, or don't use V-mount, that normally means you're okay with doing it a open machine, but it will be annoying from time to time. Which, also, yes, is extremely understandable, but, would I always recommend it? Absolutely not. If I always recommend it, then, you know, it's just something that I don't do. Now, when I first soloed as Pebble, I did use V-mount. Not because I wasn't confident, but because Pebble was my very first main, and I didn't want to use magnifying glass because I was still technically partially new to the game, and I didn't feel confident in hitting smaller and smaller skill checks. This was before I realized how overpowered magnifying glass was, and this was before the circle machine update. But I personally didn't feel confident in my skills to hit a smaller skill check, because I kept on missing skill checks anytime I went into a run, and yeah. And because I was playing on mobile, it was a lot harder to hit said skill checks, because mobile skill checks are weird, and even if you hit the button, sometimes it just doesn't register. But, anyways. Oh. So yeah, I was using Wrench and Vimo on Pebble for solos because I didn't feel very confident in my skills. As for dandy runs, I do not recommend doing a public dandy run if you really need that dandy research. I would recommend doing solo dandy runs because, well, no, completing the floor isn't easy to do for solo, especially if you're not playing as a fast tune. The reason why I don't recommend public dandy runs is because, well, yes, the floors will be completed faster, but there's also a higher likelihood of someone buying from dandy or forgetting that they're doing a dandy run. Because there are some people that are stupid. Not saying that everyone is that stupid, but there are plenty of people that are. But I do not recommend doing a public dandy run only because people will try to negotiate with you and try to make it okay to buy heals from dandy, even if he sells them, which he could sell a heal almost every floor. There is a likelihood of that. It's happened to me before when I was soloing as V. He sold a heal every floor, and I couldn't always buy the heal. And then I got Pebble on the floor, and then I had to buy all of the heals that he sold. But there's a chance that he will buy heals every floor. So if you agree with your team and like, hey, okay, cool. If he sells a heal, we can buy a heal. Change the rules to if you desperately need a heal and you're on 1 heart, you are allowed to buy it, but otherwise you cannot buy it. But other than that, I recommend doing a solo dandy run because it's not easy to complete the floor, no, but it's easier to get him on a solo run than a full group run. It's not even, like, just statistics for what I've gotten. It's pure fact. I've seen so many people completely forget they were doing a dandy run and buy from dandy. It's not just from what I've seen. It's stuff that I've seen YouTubers do. Well, yes, completely by accident, because, you know, everyone makes mistakes every once in a while. But does that mean that you should always do a solo dandy run? No. Sometimes it's good to do a public run every once in a while, because solo runs can be boring and lonely. And public runs, you can make friends and actually find good players every once in a while. That's how I found one of the best groups that I have played with in forever. And we got to floor 30. I was distracting as Pebble, and I was actually doing good. So yeah. I'm a good player sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. Now, will there be times that I will make a mistake every once in a while? Oh, absolutely. We're all human. We're not robots. We will all make a mistake every once in a while. It's not that surprising. And that's another thing. Yelling at people because of a simple mistake. Like, I understand yelling at a person with Vimo or magnifying glass. Sorry, Vimo and magnifying glass for opening Roger. But, like, don't blame them for it. Because if you have Roger on the floor, you gotta make sure you tell them that there's Roger on the floor. Because otherwise, they're not gonna know, and they're not gonna pay attention to the capsules. Make sure you tell people the Twisted's on the floor if it even has the possibility of them getting killed or almost getting killed. Hence, letting them know if there's R&D and Roger. As well as Connie, because the distractors can get confused if Connie's on the floor. It's happened to me so many times, and I was like, who the frick is the other Twisted? And I was running around the map trying to find the other Twisted while I had a bunch of other Twisteds trailing behind me, and I almost got my entire team killed because of it. And then finally, someone in chat said that it was Connie. And everyone else in chat was like, yeah, we know. I was like, well, I didn't know. Obviously, I couldn't type in chat, but it was what my reaction was when everyone else said, yeah, we know. It's like, please, to every person out there who does public runs, tell them what the Twisteds on the floor are if they are not all, like, aggressive Twisteds. If there's Glisten, everyone will know that it's Glisten. The text will pop up on the bottom of the screen. Let them know if it's Blot. Let them know if it's Connie. Let them know if it's R&D or Roger. Like, tell them, because otherwise they're going to either be running around the map trying to find the other Twisted, or they are going to end up dying trying to find the other Twisted because they run into a wall or something. Where they could easily just be staying in one place because they know what the other Twisted is. Now, if they respond with an I know, don't assume that they don't want to know what the other, don't assume that they never want to know what the other Twisted is. Because sometimes they genuinely won't know, because both of the other Twisted capsules are on the other side of the map. So, like, there are times where they won't know. So, always make sure to tell them who and what is on the map, no matter what. Even if they say I know for one floor, never, ever, ever not tell them what the Twisteds are. If you don't tell them what the Twisteds are, they're never going to know. And that's what makes people always assume that everyone in a public run is bad at the game. As for the supposed pro players, and those supposed pro players that are using Fancy Purse and Fishing Rod. Fancy Purse and Fishing Rod are not pro player trinkets. I understand using Fancy Purse on a Tekin because there's a Sprout in your run, and you know you're probably not going to get that many tapes floor one, so if you get hit, you want to make sure you have a heal. That's understandable. If you're playing a Sprout and you want to make sure you have a heal floor one because you know someone's probably going to get hit, especially your distractor because you think they're a bad player, then yes, put V-Mode on him. But if you know you're going with a good team of people, don't put Fancy Purse on Sprout. Only use Fancy Purse on Sprout when you're dealing with people you have no idea the background of. If you have a good distractor and you know the person's a good distractor, you don't need Fancy Purse, because they're probably going to be the only ones that are going to need to be healed. Now, does this mean that in every public run you should equip fancy first? No, because sometimes you just gotta trust that there will be people that won't get hit for 3 full floors, which is enough time for you to get enough tapes to heal at least one person. Maybe 2 if you're that good of a Sprout player. And if you get lucky enough for good enough bad items to... oh my gosh, sorry. If you're lucky enough to get that many bad items on one floor. Bad items being items that you normally wouldn't care about and try to pick up, unless you're trying to get tapes. Or you have bone, which is another thing. Bone should only be used on 3 tunes. A. Tegan. Tegan should only have bone if you're doing either a solo or a duo and the other person has agreed to let you get all of the tapes. B. Sprout. It's good because you gotta make sure you let your team know that you're going to take all of the useless items. Anything uncommon tier or lower, or anything that is above there that literally no one uses. Like air horns. Well, yes, there's a plentiful amount of people that use air horns, but no one actually, will keep them in their inventory, especially not the distractor when there's heals involved. I will keep an air horn in my inventory if I have a 1-star stealth tune on my team and I don't have the ability to, if I'm not playing as Pebble and I don't have the ability to get the Twisteds back. But I just gotta hope and pray that they'll actually stay away from me. Now, if they don't stay away from me and they get hit, that's completely on them. Especially if I'm playing as a tune that doesn't have that kind of ability to use like a bark or an air horn on a consistent basis. Now, there's one trinket that I want to see buffed. Only one. And it's a really, really useful one. But no one ever uses it. Said trinket, crayon set. Now, I know what you're thinking. But didn't you say fishing rod is bad? Fishing rod is bad. Crayon set is good. But you have to be patient enough and be lucky enough to get the good items out of it. Well, yes, fishing rod can give you some good items, but it's only one-time use. Whereas with crayon set, it gives you everything from the uncommon rarity. Meaning it gives you speed candies, stealth candies, which are, yes, bad, extracted speed candies, instructions, it gives you literally every good extraction item, and it gives you speed candies as well, which is a good movement speed item. It's for a short period of time, but it's really good and can help you in a tight situation. But if there's one thing that I will say, only use crayon set on a couple of tunes. Use it on characters like Roger and V or any 2-star or lower movement speed tunes, so you have the capability of getting a speed candy and helping, especially if you know you're probably not going to A, either make it back to elevator in time, or B, get a lot of items off of the floor at the very beginning of the game. This does not mean always use it on characters like Roger and V. Absolutely not. If you always use those kinds of trinkets on those characters, you're going to get made fun of by a bunch of supposedly pro players. Because you're using crayon set. Now, what I will say is, while using Crayon Set, make sure you are, you have, like, speed trinkets equipped. Especially because Crayon Set is mostly used on characters with high extraction speed but low movement speed. Which seems like a little bit of a bias, but, it's really good to use on those tunes. Because you can get instructions which will boost your extraction speed by 100%, meaning it is best used on those high extraction speed tunes. And you will have the chance of getting a speed candy, which is best used on slow movement speed tunes because it gives you a nice boost. Does this mean that you can't use it on a fast movement speed tune? Absolutely not. You can. You absolutely can. No one's stopping you. Except for maybe the bias of Danny's World players, but that's beyond the point. No, I'm not trying to control you to use certain trinkets. I'm just saying some trinkets are bad and not worth using on some tunes. Trinkets are meant to enhance the capabilities of a couple of a random tune you're playing as. If you're playing as a slow tune, use speed trinkets. If you're playing as a bad extraction speed tune but you want to extract, use extraction trinkets. If you're playing as a high skill check tune, use skill check trinkets. It's that simple of a concept. But that's where people get things mixed up. If you are playing as a high skill check tune, you want to decrease that skill check by using magnifying glass or participation award. You don't want to increase the skill check size. If you're playing as a low skill check tune, use something like thinking cap or paint bucket to increase skill check size. If you are playing as a low movement speed tune, equip pink bow and speedy shoes. If you're playing as a high movement speed tune and you want to distract, use dog plush and speedy shoes. Now, if you want full run speed first, low movement speed tune, use pink bow and vanity mirror. If you don't want that and you want a little bit of a walk boost, use speedy shoes with pink bow. If you're playing as a low stamina tune, that does not mean add on stamina trinkets. Stamina trinkets, while yes, water cooler is nice, should only be used on high movement speed tunes that you can risk wasting a little bit of movement speed for. So using water cooler on a character like Gigi is not a good idea. Using it on a character like Coco or Coco, Flight, Tisha, or Yada, that's a good idea. Because then you can risk a little bit of their speed being wasted because of it. Now, no, this does not mean that you can't cancel out the speed debuff from water cooler by using pink bow. Not at all. Is it the best idea? Absolutely not, because with a character like Gigi, you want to decrease her skill check or make her have skill checks be more frequent, so you can do machines quicker. Since she is mainly a survivalist and meant to be played with on solos. Like characters like Poppy. The reason why people hate playing as Poppy is because they're used to public runs. If you're playing as Poppy, your best bet is to do a solo run, because of the fact her ability is supposed to help her escape because she is a survivalist. But those same people are not hating on characters like Gigi, or, just Gigi, because Gigi's ability is the only other ability in the game that only helps her, really. Because with Scraps' ability, you can save other people with it. With Gigi's, you really can't. Does this mean always play as Poppy when doing a solo? Absolutely not. But don't hate on not Gigi. Don't hate on Poppy. She's a 2 that's specifically meant to do for solos. No one else. Like, whereas characters like Tegan and Gigi can be used for public runs and are good for public runs sometimes. For Poppy, she is specifically meant for solos. That's it. She's not meant for anything else, really. If you use her in a public run, that's not bad. But you just gotta hope you're playing with nice people then, because otherwise they're gonna A, either try to grief you, or report you for ruining their run, or B, they're going to make fun of you and be toxic towards you. All because you're playing as Poppy. I played as Poppy before with Magnifying Glass and V-Mode. This was before the Circle Machine update, because now I barely use Magnifying Glass at all because of the Circle Machines. Anyways, I still got told to leave the run and got made fun of because I was playing as Poppy, even with the good trinkets. That's the thing. They don't care about what trinkets you have. They care about what tune you're playing as. Well, yes, there are some people that are like, oh, you're playing as Poppy? Well, as long as you have good trinkets, I really don't care what tune you're playing as. There are some people that are like that, and those people are extremely nice and will probably be really nice people in real life, too. But there are so many people that don't care what tune you're playing as, and, like, they don't care what your trinkets are. Like, you could have Train Whistle and Dandy Plush. Now, mind you, Train Whistle is now the hardest trinket to get in the game, since you can only get one dial card every run, and it's all about luck when it comes to running into him, whereas Dandy is just about being patient. For the first 9 floors, when you're dealing with a dial run, yes, it is about patience, and you gotta make sure you're patient enough to get to floor 9 or higher. But after floor 9, it's all about luck. If you don't have enough luck to get the dial card, because I have friends that didn't get dial until floor 21. That's 10 floors. No, that's 12 floors after they could have gotten him earlier. Meaning it's all about luck and patience when it comes to dial. Whereas with Dandy, it's all about patience. You just gotta be patient enough to deal with it. It's never about luck. Because Dandy can spawn on every floor. By every floor, I mean, like, he can spawn on even or odd floors. Dial only has the capability of spawning on odd floors with the cards. Meaning that if you want Dial, you just gotta be extremely patient. You gotta hope to God you get him early. Because it's all about luck. Whereas Dandy, you can get him as early as floor 6. And he'll still show up on floors, like, he'll show up on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He'll show up on every numbered floor. By that I don't mean, like, he'll show up every single freaking floor after you get him. I mean, like, he has the capability of showing up on any floor. It doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, Dial is the hardest twisted to get in the game now. Originally it was Dandy being the hardest one to get. Well, technically he's easier to get, but after that it's all about, after you, like, make him really bad, it's all about being patient. It's never about luck, it's just patience. Whereas Dials is pure luck, because of the fact that there's many new cards. There's 2 new cards, meaning that originally, the card things would run out a lot earlier. He could end up being your very last card, or in the last 3 cards that you have, meaning that you would have to be on floor 39. No, not 39, a lot. Oh? You would have to be on a really high floor for that to happen. So, yeah. Also, when it comes to getting dial, once again, I recommend doing this on a solo, only because, well, yes, you can complete the floor a lot slower on a dial, on a dial hunt by yourself. If you do a group run, there's a lot. There's a lot of oh my gosh, English isn't Englishing. Hold up. There's a higher chance that he will like you will mess up a skill check on his floor if you have an entire group of people. Whereas when you're by yourself, it's one machine being done every 30 seconds. And it's like, then it's an even lower chance of messing up a skill check, and if you do mess up a skill check, no one else is gonna die because of it, and you could just run off and hide. So, it's all about luck, and it's better if you do it on a solo than in a group run. Now, this does not mean you won't get a good group for a dial run, absolutely not. It's just higher possibility that you won't get a good group for a dial run. And it also depends on what tune you're playing as that actually, dial's floor actually matters. Oh gosh. Now, back to the Poppy conversation. People hate on starter tunes. You could play as Tisha and still be considered a starter and people wouldn't care. But as soon as you play as Boxton or Poppy, whether you're a starter or not, people will start hating on you for oh, that's my bad. The first one wasn't my fault, I missed the skill check button and I was literally hitting it. Anyways, people won't care if you're a legitimate starter or not. As long as you're not playing as Poppy or Boxton, they don't care. Like, once you play as Poppy or Boxton, they start hating on you for no reason. But then, those same people were also starters once. Do you see them making fun of other people? Oh, sorry. And if you do hate on starters, normally... Oh, ew. It's because people hated on you when you were a starter. It's the only logical explanation on why you would hate on starters so much. Now, if you were loved as a starter, and people actually helped you, then why don't you help other people when they're starters? You have got to help people when they are starters. If you don't, then it's like, what are you doing with your life? Why are you bullying children? Half of the people on this game are legitimate children or teenagers. 8 and up is normally the age range for this game. Sometimes you'll get a child who's younger, sometimes you get a child who's older. Oh god, I'm stupid. I shouldn't have done that. I was stupid, okay? Anyways. I'll probably gamble a band-aid, it's whatever. Besides, I have a med kit. It's really just... If you are playing as Poppy or Boxton, you shouldn't get hated on for it. It's not your fault. Especially if you're brand new to the game. So if someone says that you're stupid and bad at the game all because you're playing as Poppy or Boxton, you're not. you're probably better than they are. Because if they're going to... Oh, you gotta be kidding me, Quell. Really? You removed the hitbox on that? You removed the hitbox on these? Bro! That's not fair. Anyways. If you're bullying new players in Danny's World, they're only bad at the game because you aren't helping them. And yet when they do join your run, a lot of the time, they're the last people surviving. Oh yes, sometimes it's because they're hiding next to the elevator, but some of them are genuinely good at the game, even with no trinkets, and playing as Boxton or Poppy. And yet people still have the audacity to make fun of them. Now, am I saying that you always have to help a starter? Absolutely not. If you're not in the mood to help one, it's okay. But that doesn't mean you get to make fun of them for playing as a starter. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I hate it when I do that. Anyways. Like, if you are genuinely not in the mood and you're trying to play with some other people, you don't have to let them into your run. But if you're playing in a public server, expect at least one starter to try. Oh my gosh, to try and join your run. Don't ignore them. Let them join your run unless it's specifically stated that it's a main only run. You're allowed to let them into your run. Like, they could be a pro at the game, even when they're new at the game. Because some people are just good at these kinds of games. I didn't get the hang of this for a while, actually. And I didn't join a public run until after I got Tisha. Which, mind you, was my first tune outside of Poppy. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna glaze Poppy and Tisha a little bit here, but like, Tisha is probably the most underrated tune in the game. I'm saying that because she's a great distractor with her ability, being able to help people get away from you while you're distracting. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. As well as Poppy being a great starter tune for people who don't want to play with other people. Because at the very beginning of the game, you have the choice with both Tisha and Toodles. Now, Toodles, mind you, is a survivalist. At the beginning of the game, your choices, Poppy or Boxton. Poppy. She's a survivalist and meant to be more used in solo runs, not really supposed to be used in public runs. If you use her in a public run, it's not the end of the world. Same thing can be said with Toodles. She is meant to be a survivalist, not really meant to be used in public runs. But she can be if you are, like... It's not going to be the end of the world if you use her in a public run. But if you know you're going to be playing by yourself more than playing with a... Oh my god, Brusha, go away! Than playing with a full group of people, then just do solos with Poppy or Boxton. But if you feel like you're going to get into a good group, play as Boxton. Or Tisha. Now, I'm not saying that Tisha and Boxton cannot be used in solos. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that Poppy and Toodles are better as starter tunes or first tunes to play as in solos than Tisha and Russia! You're so fucking annoying. I mean, freaking. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I do apologize. But, I legitimately hate people who disrespect starter tunes. If I ever see you disrespect a starter tune in my, like, any form of my chat, whether it's live, once I do get to live video performances, what am I on about? When I start doing live recordings, or when I'm looking back at the comments in my videos, or shorts, because I sure have only posted one short. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do more. I'm probably going to do more eventually. Probably not for a little bit, but I will do more. Now what I will say is that it's understandable for them to not be your favorite tune, but don't hate on starter people in general. It's not their fault that they're not good at the game. It's people like you who need to help them get better at the game. Because if they never get better at the game, or are never taught how to play the game, they're going to hate the game and hate the community. It's like, we need nice people out there that are willing to help them start off the game and, like, get good at it. But if you're not willing to do that for someone, not even just once, and being there to help them at the very beginning of their gameplay sessions, or help them get their first tune in this game, you shouldn't be playing this game at all. Okay, where the frickle frackle is Glisten at? If I don't see Glisten soon, I'm gonna cry. Glisten, where are you? Where are you at? There you are, there you are, there you are. Ooh. Okay, anyways. Like, don't play this game if you're gonna make fun of people for dying early or being bad at the game. It's like, I found a Poppy player that had V-mount and Dog Plush equipped. I don't know why they used Dog Plush on Poppy. Oh, how did you hear that? Bro, Brusha. This is why you're the worst Twisted to deal with now out of all the comments. Originally, it was Yada. But now, because of your giant line of sight, oh my god, bro. I hit the button. Anyways, I had this Poppy player, and I was playing as V. I died early on because I lagged while I was saving someone with my vanity mirror during panic. But I was on 1 heart. And then I lagged, and then I died, because both devices that I play on lag if I play on them for too long. But yeah, Glisten, I know, I'm on my way over. If Brusha can move any faster. Bro, you just gotta come back here. Cause it's like... people judge what you play like by the tunes that you play as. I don't. I judge people based off of their trinkets. If they're using fancy person fishing rod, I will immediately think they're probably new to the game or not actually that good at the game. Because normally they aren't. No offense to people that are good at the game that use fancy person fishing rod, but you're normally not that good at the game. but it doesn't mean that it's not possible for them to be good at the game. I don't judge based off of tunes. If I see a Poppy with no trinkets, sure, I'll assume that they're a starter, but I won't assume they're bad at the game, because they could be a starter, but they could have already played 2 rounds and actually gotten to, like, floor 5 to 10. Now, yes, that normally you would think, oh, then why don't they have another tune? Well, maybe because they're saving up for a different tune. Well, why don't they have any trinkets? Because it's hard to get research in this game sometimes, and when you're too scared and you're new to the game, and you don't want to get chased down by a Twisted every 5 seconds just to get some research. Now, one last thing before I cancel the recording and end it. I know I didn't make it to a high floor, but I'm getting rid of all that stuff. Don't be toxic in Danny's world because someone dies. Just because you think you're a better player doesn't mean anything. Because you want to know what that Poppy player was doing the entire floor? Hiding by elevator after popping a single machine with their VMO. They weren't even going around trying to do more machines. They popped a single machine. And then went right back to elevator. And after I died, and after our distractor died and left, they didn't do anything. They just stayed next to elevator with a VMO still active the entire time. And let Brusha and my friend who was playing as Shelly take care of it all. This Poppy player was... It was from this update too, that's the thing. They legitimately didn't help whatsoever. They were being toxic and making fun of everyone for dying so early when some of them were new players. They were legitimately bad at the game. A couple of them were Tisha, one of them was Toodles, one of them was Roger, one Flutter, and a Yada. Wait. 2 Tishas, a Toodles, a Roger, a Yada, a Brusha, a Shelly, a V... Oh, wait, no. I miscounted. I think there was only 1 Tisha. But everyone died because the Flutter was being very bad at the game and couldn't distract. And the Poppy wasn't even trying to help. They just popped a single machine and went back to elevator. And they were like, why aren't you going anywhere else? For context, I was on 1 heart for about 3 floors before I died. Because we were on a map and I was doing a corner machine. And this Flutter was like, why did you get in the way? When they went right over to me with a Twisted behind them. And I couldn't get out of the corner. While I was on a machine. And they watched me go in there, that's the thing. Like, they were right they were right near me with the Twisted still behind them when I went into that corner and was going onto the machine. And they still decided to try and loop around that said object next to the machine and got me hit because I couldn't escape the corner. Bro, I hit the button! This is why I hate the circle machines. Because the button isn't in the same place as the normal machines, so it's extremely annoying to try and do them. Especially when you're focused on the front of your screen and not the buttons. Oh my god. Shrimpo, you better not come running over here. If you come running over here, I will legitimately cry. Thank you. Anyways, this Poppy player was extremely toxic for someone who was at full HP and hiding next to elevator the entire time. I was hiding next to elevator because I was playing as V, and I had a pink bow and vanity mirror. Well, yes, this means I could have gone out and done some machines. I didn't want to risk dying just to do a single machine when I have 200,000 Ichor. Or thereabouts. At least I had about that much Ichor when I was in that run. No, I didn't have that exact amount, but I had about there. I think I was about 2,000 off. I didn't need to do the machines. No, I wasn't being completely useless, because I was hiding next to the elevator after the flutter left. I'm probably gonna move, because that was a dumb idea. I should have used the air horn anywhere else. Anyways. I was hiding next to the elevator and using my scan ability so people knew where the Twisteds were and which way they were coming. I was being helpful. I just wasn't doing any of the machines because I didn't want to risk getting jumped and dying because I ran out of stamina. But a couple floors later, when I helped this said Poppy, but this was before I knew they were going to try to make fun of me for dying and being a supposed noob at the game, even though I have literally everything in the game. I just don't think that extraction tunes need higher extraction speed. This Poppy, I saved this Poppy, and then I died, and then they started making fun of me and calling me a noob, and they were like, ha, you deserve that. Because I was hiding next to the elevator, because I was on one heart. Like, pal, what do you want me to do? Run out into the open and get myself killed while trying to do one machine? Like, it's not worth it for a single machine. No, I'm not saying this Poppy player isn't a good player, but they weren't nice. That's the thing. Because you got good players that are nice, and you got good players that are mean. There's only one in between. Sorry. You got extremely good players that are really mean, extremely bad players that are really mean, and, like, they blame other people for it. You got extremely nice players that are really bad, and you got extremely nice players that are really good. There's no in between. But yeah, if you're playing Dandy's World and you're toxic to someone, be ready to be reported by literally everyone in the server because you're being toxic. Also, what do these Twisteds have against me? I just got onto the floor. Anywho. I will complete this floor, and then I'm going to end the video here, because I'm bored and I don't really have much else to do. So I'm making this video because, you know, I don't have anything to do. Anyways, if you made it this far, let me know how your, school year has been going, or if you're not in school, let me know how your year has been going in general. I'm not wanting to assume that everyone that watches me is in school. I'm just curious because there's a lot of people that I know in real life that watch me sometimes. Or at least that I've friended on Roblox, and they are children. Not children. Not like below 8 children. They're about my age. Children, not like itty bitty wee children. Why? I don't know why I would say that I knew little children in real life. That's just weird and creepy. I don't want to be considered a pedo. Because I'm not. I am dating someone already. I don't need children. Because that's just weird. Anyways. No, I'm not saying that it's not possible that younger children watch me. Not at all. It's just that if there are, I probably don't know them. The only other young child that could possibly watch me, which I highly doubt he does, is my brother. Who is 8. But he's also kind of sort of banned from YouTube because of things that I'm not going to disclose here, because that's talking about his personal life, and I am not allowed to do that because that's just not nice. That's a jerk thing of me to do if I try to leak anything that happens in his personal life out into the public on YouTube for literally anyone to hear. Oh yeah, and also, if you did make it this far, let me know how your summer's been going as well, if you're still not in school yet, because I know some schools don't start yet. At least some of them, not all of them. I don't know how some places work. It's weird, I don't know everything. And of course, I gamble a band-aid right when I am about to leave and end the video and, like, die. So, yeah. Those are my three... wait, how many topics did I have? Those are my topics for today. Don't be a jerk, to starters. Don't use Vimo in solo runs that often, and if you do, make sure you're using it on a tune that actually needs it. Only use speed... make sure your trinket is working with the tune that you're playing as, and not against it. Make sure you're nice to starters, and don't assume that someone is a starter based off of their tune, and make sure you check their trinkets. Because they could have a good tune, but have bad trinkets. So yeah. Also, before anyone asks me which side I'm on when it comes to the Grow a Garden and Steel Brainrot War, I'm on neither side. I don't like Steel Brainrot. It's, like, literally the worst game that has been made on Roblox to date. But I am not a fan of Grow a Garden either, because it just feels boring to me. Anyways... I hope everyone who's watching this has a great day, evening, or night, wherever you are, whenever you are, and however you are watching this. And I hope you have a good week. Or, well, next week. Yeah. I gotta go find a Twisted and go die to it. Dizzle and Dizzle and lobotomy. Or as a YouTuber that I've watched calls her butt cheek licks. I'm gonna go die to Rizzle and Dizzle. Let's go. Hehe. He's so silly. Hi, hug time. Let's check my results. Oh, dang. Anyways. Bye-bye, my bunnies. Good luck this week, or next week, or wherever you are. Bye!